Well, just like that, we posted last night about Wade Wilson with some crazy updates. Over 100,000 people have viewed this in just a few hours. I have even more updates for you now, kind of building on some of those things and just some things that you just, it gets pretty wacky. Okay, so just buckle yourself in, but we're going to go through it all. And it all starts with the guy who was formerly locked up in the same cell block as Wade Wilson. He was in the cell right beside him. This guy, they even got the matching tattoos together. And Wade Wilson told him a lot. Some of that is true. Some of that, obviously we know Wade Wilson likes his stories and his story times and his fairy tales and his fantasies of who he is and what he does. But nevertheless, this guy's just telling me what he was told. Okay, so we got to start with this because it gets wacky. We're talking about some guy, Wade, being a hitman, and he got paid tens of thousands of dollars to kill some guy who was on the Deadliest Catch TV show, and he describes his tattoo, and this gets corroborated with who the guy is by the ex, and then we find the guy, and let's just get into it, and let's take it from the top. And I'll tell you now, we're even got to get to some part where there's bloody crowbars and men's clothes being brought home by Wade Wilson, and he instructs his girlfriend to throw the crowbar into the woods because they got to get rid of this evidence. And I don't even know if the police know about this. I mean, it gets crazy, people. Tune in. So if you watched the video from last night, the previous video with two of these, pretty much the same two sources, the guy who was in the cell block with Wade Wilson, who got the tattoos with him, used to work out with him every day, and they used to talk about all this stuff. He claimed that Wade told him he used to be a hitman. And so when I asked about this with his ex-girlfriend, Kelly Matthews, who has been working with me and answering questions, giving me insight and information, she said, no, I don't think Wade was ever a hitman. I don't know anything about that. I think he's full of crap. So I posted this video, and of course, his former cell block fellow inmate messaged me again, and he sent me a very, very long message with a lot of detail. I'll spare you most of it and just kind of sum it up for you. Basically, he's telling me some things that, it might sound kind of off the wall, but let me remind you, this guy and Wade Wilson's ex-girlfriend, Kelly Matthews, they don't know each other. They've never spoken. They don't know each other from a can of paint. They don't even know each other exists. The details he gave when I relayed these, or when I brought this to her, and the matching details that were given, that's when it started to get interesting. So he tells me that Wade Wilson, he definitely slid some paperwork under his door just about his whole, all the evidence the state had against him for these, for what he was in there for, not related to this that I'm about to talk about, but they got very close with each other in that way. He said that with these, the evidence and the papers that were passed under the door, there was something there about a guy who was on the Deadliest Catch. The TV show, if you're not familiar with it, this is what it looks like. It's the Deadliest Catch. And he said there's a guy on there with an anchor tattoo under his eye. And he says that Wade basically was paid by this guy $80,000, and he had that money because he was very well paid by appearing on this TV show from the Deadliest Catch. He paid Wade to murder somebody. That's what this paperwork said that he saw, and it had a picture of him. Okay. But he says that apparently they didn't have enough evidence, and Wade went on to kind of just beat these charges, or these charges got dropped, which is a very common thing. If they don't have enough evidence and you're not ready to just plead guilty, they can't trick you into really just like confessing and incriminating yourself. They'll, after a certain amount of time goes by, these charges may get dropped. And so he says that's pretty much what happened. They didn't have enough on Wade for whoever he allegedly killed, that he was paid to kill by this guy from the Deadliest Catch. And we've identified this guy. We'll get into that in a second. So he tells me this. I reach out to Wade's ex-girlfriend, Kelly Matthews, and she has a TikTok. She's very vocal about everything. She's actually currently being interviewed by Netflix. They're making an entire docuseries about Wade Wilson. She's already been verified and vetted as one of his ex-girlfriends, and she knows what she's talking about. I've been in contact with her, and I talked to her today, and she says, when I brought this information to her, she says, actually, it's funny you say that, because she said Wade left her, Kelly, for a girl named Sarah. Sarah then at one point left Wade, probably after Wade got locked up, for a man who is a cast member of the TV show Deadliest Catch. And she sent me a photo of him, and here he is. Do you notice anything? Maybe a tattoo right under that eye? What is that? Let's zoom in. That's an anchor. Mind you, these two people who are giving me this separate information don't know each other. She says, but he's, when we looked into him, and when I say we, I mean me and JD DeLay. JD DeLay actually looked him up and found out this guy has a pretty colorful criminal history. This guy, Eric, from the Deadliest Catch TV show, he even has it in his bio. He's very proud of it. That's his claim to fame. He's been arrested time and time again for what? Charges related to physical abuse against women that he is dating. And I know this may be a stretch and a reach, but I mean, I'm starting to see how him and Wade probably are in the same kind of social circle. Seems like they both kind of like to do the same type of thing. And it's interesting because his ex-girlfriend goes on to say that, now that she thinks about it, Wade did come home one night with a man's change of clothes from another man, basically, and a bloody crowbar. She says she did ask him, like, what the heck is this? What's going on? And of course, he wouldn't tell her much of anything. All he said is, we need to get rid of this. Take care of it. And gave her the crowbar. And she says she threw the bloody crowbar into the woods. And as far as I know, the police don't know about this. And this never came out. And all I can't help but think, if the police found that and tested it, the blood on it, we might have a whole new murder here. And I understand, again, this is speculation, hearsay, and reach, but I mean, this is how it starts. This is how these conversations get opened and brought to the light. And so that's what I'm bringing to you people. So that's what we have here. And I even reached out to this guy from the Deadliest Catch, Mr. Eric with a K. And unfortunately, he may be back in jail. He hasn't been active on his social media since February. So there's a fat chance that he'll respond to me. I did send him a message trying to get his comment on all of this and see what information he may be willing to offer up. But hey, that was maybe 3 hours ago. If we hear back from him, we hear back, and you better believe I'm going to give you the updates first. But right now, I'll tell you right now, I'm in the middle of something. I'm on to something. I'm telling you, I'm on to something. We're going to figure some stuff out. We're going to get to the bottom of it. But that's the update I have for you all. Let me know what you think. As I learn, I bring it to you so you can learn about it. We're a community. We talk about this stuff. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this. What do you make about all this? And do you have anything that could help? Any info that could help in this situation? Go ahead and offer it up. Get in contact with me. Put it in the comments. Let's figure this thing out, because there's too many things adding up here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And next time will probably be very, very soon. See ya.